Hi, it's Dahlia Lithwick, and the Supreme Court's Opinionpalooza is heating up. So here on Amicus, we are doing our very, very best to stay on top of everything and to bring you along for the ride. Still to come in this season of unelected politicians in robes. The court has yet to issue decisions on whether adjudicated domestic abusers have the right to bear arms, if coup-prone presidents are truly above the law, and whether pre-viability fetuses have more rights than their reproductive hosts, who we call women. On Thursday morning, we received a unanimous decision on abortion pills that means that the status quo on abortion medication holds. Yay! But wait! Good news from the Supreme Court can rarely be taken without the proverbial pinch of salt, and that's what Slate's very own Mark Joseph Stern and I hope to provide. Not simply the salt, but the context for decisions in a Supreme Court term that is as much about ideological warfare as it is about the merits of any one individual case. In a unanimous decision on Thursday morning, the High Court found an insurmountable lack of standing from doctors and dentists claiming moral injury from the possibility of treating patients who had taken abortion medication. Mifepristone, the abortion drug documented to be safer than Tylenol or Viagra, with decades of clinical study both here and around the world to back that up, will continue to be licensed by the FDA for use in a two-step regimen to terminate pregnancy. But this is what a win looks like at the court, and that's pretty chilling. Here is a taste of my conversation with Slate's very own Mark Joseph Stern, senior writer on the courts, on the law and democracy, and the Amicus podcast's very favorite Opinionpalooza mixed doubles partner. I hate that Amicus could be called Skunk in the Elevator show, but I think this is a good Skunk in the Elevator day. So let's dig in. Reading Justice Brett Kavanaugh's unanimous opinion, and I just want to point out, it really is proof that he went to law school and learned stuff. But you might start to wonder how in the world this utterly absurd case ever got to the High Court. Now, you and I have been wondering that for a very long time. It's even a ludicrous case to Justice Kavanaugh. So can you just remind us what the backstory is, and just like if you can make every other stanza rhyme with judge shopping, extra points.
Oh my God, where even to begin, Dahlia? So in late 2022, Alliance Defending Freedom, which is this far-right Christian nationalist law firm, got together a group of anti-abortion doctors and dentists who are really afraid of being coerced into treating abortion patients, giving them a root canal or something, I don't know, and had them incorporate in Amarillo, Texas, where, as longtime listeners know, there's just one judge in the federal courthouse, Matthew Kacsmaryk, a far-right Trump appointee who in his earlier life was a hardcore anti-abortion activist. These plaintiffs called themselves Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine, and they alleged that the FDA's approval of mifepristone way back in 2000, and also a bunch of regulations about mifepristone ever since, are all unlawful. Mifepristone is the first drug in a medication abortion. It halts the pregnancy. It has been proved safe and effective over and over again. There are like 150 plus scientific studies showing that this is not a dangerous drug at all. As you said, safer than Tylenol, safer than Viagra, just an incredibly safe, like gold standard drug. And yet the plaintiffs allege that it was dangerous, that it was killing women and girls, and that Matthew Kacsmaryk had an obligation to block this drug nationwide to protect these plaintiffs' interests. Now, you might be asking at this point, how exactly are these plaintiffs who do not provide abortions implicated in this at all? And their answer was, well, we fear that one day another doctor will prescribe mifepristone to their own patient. That patient will have one of these very rare serious complications. Then that patient will come into our practice. We will have to treat them. That might include completing an abortion, or it might just include providing post-abortion care. Either way, treating a patient who's ever taken mifepristone violates our conscience, and so our own rights under law will be violated. Matthew Kacsmaryk gobbled up that theory. He said, absolutely, that's standing to me, baby. He issued a nationwide bar on Mifepristone, tried to pull it from the market in all 50 states. This went up to the fight in Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit also credited this bizarro theory of standing, but it rolled back some of Kaczmarek's decision. What it did was reimpose a bunch of these draconian restrictions on medication abortion that would have made it much, much more difficult, if not impossible, for patients to access it, even in blue states. And the Supreme Court had to be the adult in the room and step in, as it did on Thursday, and say, hey, guys, we have this constitutional rule about standing that you have to have an injury, in order to come into court. You can't just make stuff up. We think you're making stuff up. And so we are not going to allow you to bring standing. So I guess, you said there's the skunk in the elevator. This case has both the skunk in the elevator and the blunt in the elevator. Same smell, different causes. The blunt in the elevator is that, yes, the Supreme Court finally tossed out this ridiculous lawsuit that dragged on for way too long. The skunk in the elevator is that this is not the end even of this case, that Justice Brett Kavanaugh may have smuggled some very disturbing anti-abortion principles into his opinion, and that with all of these other threats like the Comstock Act still out there looming, this does not mean that medication abortion is guaranteed for even the immediate future.
During Opinionpalooza, Slate Plus members don't have to wait for our opinions on the opinions, with access to emergency episodes whenever the biggest decisions come down. If you are not a subscriber, go to slate.com/Amicus Plus to join, or if you are listening in Apple Podcasts, click Try Free at the top of our show page. We're back on Saturday with this week's regular episode of Amicus, and we will talk to you then.